What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm here today to review Matterfall. So Matterfall is the newest game from Housemarque, the makers of Resogun, Nex Machina, Alien Nation, Super Stardust, and more. And I said a lot of good things about this game that I thought was going to be really good in the preview I did for Matterfall about a week and a half ago. And so now that the game is actually out, what do I think about it? Well, the game does not reach the expectations I set out for it, and that's not a bad thing. I think I could have expected this game to be the best Housemarque game ever made, and I don't think it's that at all. I think this is easily the third game in there if you had to rank them. Resogun, Nex Machina, and then this is not even close to Nex Machina and not even close to Resogun. There are some pros here. This game is still fun. It's a lot of fun to play. I've enjoyed my time playing it. It's difficult, but it's not very difficult, and I think honestly that is a weak point of the game, is it's not the same kind of difficulty you'll get from a Nex Machina or a Resogun. It isn't as fast paced as them either. Tyler made a good point when he texted me and said like he doesn't feel like the controls let this game enable it to get into the situations you could get in Resogun and Nex Machina when you're, kind of surrounded by enemies and there's things going on all over the screen and you really got to move fast and use just your skill playing the game in order to get out of a situation. Matterfall doesn't really have that. Matterfall is more straightforward. When everything is going kind of at the highest pace that it can go and enemies are all over the place and you're blowing things up and it's like a chain reaction, everything's falling and the particle effects are going on, the game looks very, very good, and it is in that way very enjoyable, and that's when you kind of feel like the sense of like, yeah, a lot of things are going on. Like that took skill, that was fun to watch, all that kind of excitement. The problems go like this. Firstly, I feel like this game is too short. It doesn't have many levels, and the levels don't take too long to beat, and there's only 3 difficulties, which is very weird. Now, maybe when you beat them, it unlocks like a 4th one, but Nex Machina has 4 difficulties. It has 5 worlds, and it has actually has 6 with like the hidden world, and it's got a lot to it, and there's a ton of replayability in it. In Matterfall, I don't really see the replayability in the game as much as Nex Machina. It's there. It's still a kind of score-based game, so you're trying to beat other people's scores online. You're trying to find the hidden humans. That part I do like. I like that you have to find the humans in this game. That is kind of cool. Another pro is the actual phasing. When you phase through things, when you're kind of like gliding, that is fun. That is enjoyable. I do like that. It's like Velocity 2X in that way. I think Velocity does it much, much better. I don't like how if you do that, you don't actually kill them. You just kind of put them in like a stasis, and then you can attack the enemies with your gun after that. The phasing doesn't actually hurt them. It just kind of pauses them, which is an interesting choice. This game is difficult to talk about because I think for every pro, there is an equal con. But I do think overall the pros do outweigh the cons. I've enjoyed my time with Matterfall. I don't think it's the game that I thought it was going to be. I think it's easier than I thought it was going to be. It's much, much shorter than I thought it was going to be. It doesn't have as much substance in it. It doesn't feel like Resogun and Nex Machina, and to their credit, and not to like bag on them, I don't think it's supposed to feel like Resogun or Nex Machina. This is supposed to be a different kind of game. This is a side-scroller. It's just a different genre of games, and honestly, I think that Housemarque has some tuning up to do with this kind of genre. They've mastered the twin stick shooting by like a mile. They know how to do it, and that's definitely here too. The left analog stick moves, the right analog stick shoots, and that feels just as good as ever. It really does. But everything else is kind of a little clunky. The controls are not really what I thought. R1 is jump. And as soon, just that alone messes with me. And in Housemarque games, you don't really jump. And so obviously that messes with me too. But the controls of this just feel like a couple of the buttons are misplaced. Like some buttons shouldn't be the way they are. R2 is kind of the special move, like the rocket launcher or things of that nature. That makes sense. That's what it is in Resogun and Nex Machina. So that makes sense. But just a couple of the controls just don't feel right with the buttons that they assign to it. And like I said, the game is short. The levels are decently long, but it doesn't take too long to beat them. And I don't know, I don't feel as much urge to beat high scores in this game as I do in the other games. I think, honestly, what it comes down to is this game is not as fast-paced and energetic as Nex Machina or as Resogun. You're not going to get the same feeling playing the two. And maybe this is the kind of game for you if you weren't into those fast-paced twin-stick shooters of Nex Machina or Resogun. Maybe this is for you. But when it comes down to it, and Tyler's point of view too is he's disappointed with this game. He thought this was going to be the Housemarque game of the summer, where Nex Machina actually was. Nex Machina is much, much better, and I do agree. Nex Machina is a far superior game. So when it comes down to it, should you buy this game? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say you should buy it because this game is very good. It's a solid, solid game. And it's only $20. It's not expensive. It's a great developer. I think there's work needed to be done with this kind of game. And if they were to make another game like this, like a side-scroller, I think it'd be much improved. However, if you have not played Nex Machina and you're deciding, well, should I go with Matterfall or Nex Machina? I absolutely say Nex Machina. Don't even look at Matterfall. If you can only play one of these two, Nex Machina should be it hands down. But if you've already played Nex Machina and you want the next Housemarque game, I do think you should probably buy Matterfall. It is a solid, solid game. So let me know what you guys have thought of Matterfall so far. Make sure to check out my tips and tricks and beginner's guide videos, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel Podcast Now. And I will see you guys on the next game review.